Welcome, leaders. Finance never sits still, does it? It's always evolving. And today, we're not just taking a casual stroll through its history. No, we are going to dissect the very DNA of financial trust so we can figure out exactly where we fit into its next unwritten chapter. So let's dive right in. I always come back to this quote because it just perfectly captures the spirit of what we do. It's all about having the vision to see what others miss and, frankly, having the courage to actually go after it. This is going to be our North Star for this entire session. Okay, here's our roadmap. We've got 5 key parts. We're going to start with the bedrock, the foundation of trust. Then we'll walk through the rise of intermediaries and what's happening now with the great decentralization. After that, we'll look at the new frontier and, most importantly, what it all means for your mandate to innovate today. Look, every single financial system that has ever existed is built on one thing and one thing only: trust. But how do you create trust between total strangers? The answer to that question is really where the whole story of finance begins. Think about this for a second. Early innovations like coins, they weren't just about making trade a little bit easier. They were incredible technological solutions to the problem of trust. All of a sudden, you didn't need to know someone to do business with them. You just had to trust the value of the coin in your hand. And that, right there, was an absolutely revolutionary shift. And this slide really breaks it down. This shows the first great transfer of trust in all of human history. We literally moved from trusting people we knew to trusting an object that everyone agreed had value. This was a fundamental rewiring of how commerce worked. So once we figured out how to trust objects, what was the next logical step? Well, it was to create institutions to manage that trust on a massive scale. And this, of course, marked the beginning of centralization in the world of finance. And right here, we see the second great shift in trust. It moved from the physical gold in your hand to a simple piece of paper, a promise, really, from an institution. That simple idea, the promissory note, became the bedrock of the entire modern banking system we know today. Which brings us right to our doorstep, to today, and to a shift in trust that might just be as profound as the invention of banking itself. We're talking about the move toward decentralization. This is where decentralized ledger technology, what we all call blockchain, enters the picture. Now, the best way I've heard it described is like this. Think of it as a magic shared notebook. Everyone can see it, everyone can verify what's written in it, but absolutely no one can go back and alter or erase an entry. So trust is no longer in a central party. It's in the cryptography, in the mathematics of the network itself. And the implications of this new way of thinking about trust, they're huge. When you put the two systems side by side, it's night and day, isn't it? We're looking at a system that's faster, cheaper, and way more transparent. We're shifting from relying on trusted people in the middle to relying on verifiable, automated truth. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, this is just some niche experiment, I want you to just take a look at these numbers. The data tells a very different story. This exponential growth in DeFi, it isn't just a trend. It's the emergence of a parallel financial system, and it absolutely demands our strategic attention. The most forward-thinking institutions out there aren't just watching from the sidelines. No, they are actively building the bridges to this new ecosystem. We're seeing major banks offer crypto custody. We're seeing investment firms launch digital asset funds. The tokenization of real-world assets is moving from a cool idea to actual practice. This integration, it's happening right now. Now, of course, this level of disruption brings both massive opportunities and some pretty significant challenges. For us as leaders, the key isn't having all the answers. Let's be honest, nobody does. The key is knowing the right questions to ask. So this is the critical question I want every one of you to think about. Within your own organization, for your teams, what are the key risks and the strategic opportunities that this new technology presents? What's the landscape you need to navigate? And the major factors we all need to consider are pretty clear, right? We're talking about market volatility, constantly evolving regulations, the security of digital assets, different policies around the globe, and of course, the coming wave of central bank digital currencies. These are the areas that demand our rigorous, ongoing analysis. So this brings us to our final and maybe most important point. History shows us a very clear pattern. The institutions that are willing to lead the experiments in trust are the ones that end up defining the future of finance. Remember where we started? With that motto about trying what nobody else wants to try, this isn't just an inspirational poster on the wall. It's an actionable mandate for every single person in this room. In today's financial landscape, the courage to experiment is quite literally the price of admission to the future. So, what can you do tomorrow morning? Here are the actionable steps. First, invest in education for your teams. You've got to share that knowledge. Second, launch small pilot programs. Learn by doing. Third, engage with policymakers. Be part of the conversation. And fourth, foster community. Get out there, network, and share what you're learning. The next chapter of finance is being written as we speak. It's being written in code, in policy debates, and in boardrooms just like yours. The only question left is this: will you be a footnote in that chapter, or will you be its author? Thank you.